Alright guys and girls, welcome to another episode of Astral Auto Repairs. Can you dig it? Alright, I heard Siri say her little saying. Y'all guys don't cut that out. It's can you dig it? It ain't sub. It ain't that. However she say it. Alright, we got 2014 Chevy Impala. And today I'm going to show you how to replace the front right wheel bearing. And this one's considered a hub assembly, because it comes with the studs, the bearing, and everything. The ABS wheel speed sensor, the whole thing. Alright, so without hesitation, let's jack this up, get it up on jack stand, and get these wheels off. We'll be right back. Alright, here we go. Got the car jacked up with our hydraulic jack, and I got my jack stand under here. And guys and girls, check this out. When you if you're gonna put jack stands up on a vehicle that has dirt on the ground or rocks or something like this, you want to put you a board or something, because that jack stand will sink into the ground. All right, and you know it's very important, very important, very very important to use some jack stands, because you know for $15 that can save your life, and I don't need nothing happening to you, because then I'm gonna lose a subscriber if something happens to you. So you know, keep it safe. All right, let's get over here and take this wheel off. We got the lugs. Looks like it's a 3/4 or 19 millimeter. I'm gonna use a 19 millimeter. I got my earthquake gun, and this car also has a wheel lock. So let's get that wheel lock off first. Okay. Alright, let's get our tie off and all and get ready to do this. Let's do this. Alright, right back. Alright guys, girls, the first thing we're going to do, I got the wheel turned all the way to the left. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to disconnect this outer tie rod right here, so we can move this spindle and everything around very freely. And it feels like about a 17 millimeter bolt up under there. And it looks like I was wrong. Alright. 18. Alright. We got an 18 millimeter. Let's get all this stuff out of the way here. Alright, 18 millimeter. I'm using an 18 millimeter deep impact with my air gun. Got that off. Now, there's two ways of taking this apart. One, you can use the forks to go in there and it pops that off, but do not use that unless you're changing the outer tie rod, because you are going to mess up the bolt. So what you're doing, I'm going to back you up a little bit, because we're about to get physical up in here. Got my big hammer, and what you're going to do is called shock and awe. What you do is hit right on this flat spot right here, and you're going to shock it so much that it's going to pop that joint right out of there. Alright, so let's back you up a little bit more. Pop the joint right out, swing it to the side. Now we can work with our spindle back and forth. The next thing you'll do is pull your spindle and everything to the right. And now what we're going to do is go around here to this side. Make sure you can see this. The next thing we're going to do here is we're going to remove the caliper. And we got two bolts right here. Looks like they look like a 14. Let's try them. Hey, I'm off today. Alright. Two 13 millimeter bolts. And before you take those out, get you some mechanics wire, or wire, any kind of wire, or bungee cord, anything. And I'm going to show you what we're going to use that for in a minute. Now, I'm using a 1/2 inch drive, 13 millimeter, or you can use a 1/2 inch. And you can use a ratchet if you want. I'm gonna still be right here, and I'm gonna use my air gun, and I'm gonna buzz them two bolts right out. Alright, I got them out. Now let's go up here, because what I'm gonna do is take off the caliper. And you don't want the caliper to hang around, especially pulling pressure on this hose. So that's why you get the mechanic's wire. And just wrap it around. Or bungee cord, be the same thing. Alright, and you want to tie it up to the spring. And get that out of your way. There you go. The next thing you want to do, let me show you this now. This is the caliper. Okay. This is the caliper bracket right here. And what you want to do is go back in here, and you see them two bolts right there, 1 and 2. You want to get those bolts out of there. Let's see what size they are. Oh, I got that on the first try. Look at that. Okay, I got a 15 millimeter. I'm using a 15 millimeter half inch because I'm still using my air gun. Quick with the air gun. That one was kind of like an angle, you saw that, right? But I got it. Alright, that comes off with the brake pads. Alright, got the brake pads, everything off of it. I'm going to set that down to the side. And then we're going to swing our assembly back over, and now we gotta do, we take off this rotor. Now this rotor's not, usually the rotors just pop off, but this one ain't gonna pop off because it's got a little bolt holding it on right there. So we gotta get a socket and take that off. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, we're back. We got a little torque socket here, and it's a T30. It's gonna fit right in there. And you know, I love using my air gun so much. Now I'm gonna get a reducer from 1/2 inch to 3/8. I'm gonna get my torques right in there. Buzz that little screw right out of there. Rotor should come right off. We're looking good. Okay, the next. We're almost good to go here, guys. Next thing we're gonna do is this hub is not gonna come off unless we don't take off this big nut right, axle nut right there. And that happens to be a 33 millimeter. And you're gonna have to have a 33 millimeter deep impact. Fits up there nice and snug. Get out. Now you could use this by hand, but it's a lot of work doing it by hand. Let me get my 1/2 inch drive ratchet. Let me see here. Yeah, okay, see? You can't do it. But I'm using the impact gun. Both the nuts off, we're good to go. Now, I'm gonna take you around to this side again. We're looking good here. Let's turn this a little bit more. Now what we got here, see this little connector? Just gotta squeeze those 2 pins in and let me get some needle nose so I can show you the plug, how to unplug it on the back side. Alright, be right back. Alright, here we go. Got my needle nose. Just gonna squeeze those 2 tabs in together. Pop that out. I'm gonna turn it around and we got your plug right there. See a little tab right there? Just pull that tab out just a little bit and unplug it. Alright. Now, this axle, see how this axle? I can see how I can get you back around this side. Alright. You can move this axle, push this axle out a little bit. Because definitely gonna have to do that. I'm gonna show you why. Let's swing our spindle back a bit, about this way, about a little bit to the right. And here's your nuts going in, the bolts going in from the opposite way. 1, 2, and then there's one on the other side. So what I gotta do here, let's get a little closer. Get all the tools out of the way. And I'm gonna show you here. If you look on the back side, you got one bolt right there, one up in there, and then Swing this back around. Let's see if I make sure I can see what you see. We got one right there. Okay. So let's swing this back around this way. And we're gonna get the tools to take that off. Be right back. Alright. Let's get you set up here. Now, it's gonna be, just like I said, guys, it's very important to make sure you use your hand to keep that axle pushed back. Now what I got here is a 4 1/4 inch half-inch drive extension with my 13mm half-inch drive socket. This is 12 point. I'd rather for it to be 6 point at this point, but we're good. Now while you got that thing held back, you can actually reach in there. You see that? Get that socket right up there and fit perfect. Then I'm gonna get my air gun. As soon as I can get this thing to get in there. Okay. Alright. There we go. One bolt. Reach down here. Second bolt. Now we're going to come over here to the other side. It's windy out here. Okay, I'm going to turn it all the way to the left. And then our third bolt is right there. So, get our air gun over here. Okay, there we go. All bolts are out. Make sure that backing plate stays in place. Now, you want to pay attention to how that bearing comes out and where that wheel speed sensor is facing. So we're going to slowly pop this out, and you notice it's facing right up to the top, just like this. You want to make sure we put the new one in the same spot. All right, so we took the old one out. There we go. It's kind of free spinning. The new ones aren't going to be that free spinning. All right, so the customer went to O'Reilly and got the new one. So let's open this up. As you can see, it comes with everything you're going to need. Okay, there we go. This little plastic clip right here, you could take that right off. Alright, you want to just match them up. Make sure everything is good. Yeah, they look the same. Everything good. So let's go over here and set this in. Set you over this way. So you can see that better. See this a little better. Alright. Now, you can see how see how nice and tight that is. It don't spin like the other one. All right, so we know we got to keep our backing plate in place, and we know our sensor went through there like this. Got to get our axle lined up and all. Make sure our axle's coming through there. There we go. Let's turn this a little bit, because there we go. Okay. Now we've got it pretty much lined up. But what I'm going to do here, while I got it basically lined up, I'm going to take one bolt, the bolt over here, and I'm going to just get it started just by hand. Okay, let's start it by hand. Now what I'm gonna do is swing this just a little bit and get my other 2 bolts in there. Start it by hand. And if I want, what I'm gonna do here to make it easier to reach up in there, I'm gonna use my extension with my socket on it, so it helps me out a lot better. And what I'm doing, I'm just making sure all the bolts line up before I tighten them up. Okay, that's 2. Let's get our 3rd one in there. Yep. Lined up perfectly. Alright, while I'm on this side, you know what I'm gonna do? Go ahead and tighten up those screws. Turn it to the right, pull my axle in. We'll start off with the most difficult one, the top one. One. 2. Let's swing it around to the other side. Okay. So over here. And get our 3rd one in there. Tighten up. You want to make sure those bolts are tight. Alright, then we want to do, put our, now this one's got a clip on it instead of like the old one. The old one had this on it and this one's got a clip on it. Well, I want to make sure, first of all, let's plug this back up. And what we're gonna do is hook that right into there. And it should, that's not really holding it, and I am not liking that. I am not liking that at all. Can't even use this one up there, man. Why they do that, man? Somebody tell me why. Can I take this off? You know, it looks like I can. Let's see if I can take this off and use that clip, because I am not happy with that. There we go. Pop that right off of there. And what I'm going to do is, I see how this is held on by a little clip on it. So I'm going to push that back like that. Because you definitely don't want this thing rubbing up against this axle or anything. You want to make sure that thing is secure. Now, pop her into place. Now I'm happy. I am very happy with that. Alright, let's straighten this wheel back out. The next thing we're going to do is grab our center nut to the axle. Now you want to make sure your axle's all the way forward now. And go ahead and tighten that up. Again, 33 millimeter. Deep impact. Gotta have a deep. Bam. Done. What's next, guys? You got it. Wherever it's at. Where's your rotor? Okay. Here we go. We got the rotor. Now we got that little hole right there, that screw hole, so you got to make sure that lines up. Just like that. Okay, we got our T30 Torx. Put that in there. Get my air gun, put it on all the way to my lowest setting. and I know when to stop. So done, just like that. All right, let's switch over here to the other side again. It is windy out here. Turn our wheel all the way to the right. Got our 2 bolts right here that's holding in our caliper bracket. Here's our caliper bracket with the brake pad still in place. Gonna bring that down. Make sure you can see this. Okay, let's get them started by hand. Okay. Okay. And what size was those? Where are we at? Where's our tools at, man? Where are the tools at? 14. Nope. Okay. Got my 15 millimeter. Go over here. Matter of fact, this time I'm gonna use my extension on it. I'm using a 15 millimeter 1/2 inch drive. You want to use the 1/2 inch drive on these to make sure they're nice and tight. All right, let's bring our torque up. Let's get those tightened up. That's good. Hold our brake pads into place. Unhook our mechanics wire. So we can bring our caliper down. Put our caliper back into place. Get our 2 screws. Bolts rather, I mean. Alright. 13 millimeter. Get my 1/2 inch drive gun again. And this time what I'm doing, I'm putting it on a medium setting. Tightened up. Step back over to the side. Turn the wheel all the way. Now this is a good time. You want to make sure your backing plate is not rubbing up against your rotor. From maybe it bent while taking it apart. So you just want to bend it and make sure it's not touching nowhere. That's good. Now let's get our outer tie rod. Put it in there. Get our bolt. Okay, got an 18 millimeter nut. Put it back on it. Get our air gun. Tighten that up. And you might want to hold down on the tie rod. Done. You're all complete. Let's turn this wheel back straight and get this tire back on. Right back. All right, turn that wheel back straight. Let's get our tire. Here we go. Put our lugs, tighten them up, and we'll be right back.
Okay, so that's how you change a hub bearing assembly on a 2014 Chevy Impala. If you have any questions or comments, post them below in the comment section, or you can email Timmy at tim@astralautorepairs.com. Okay, hope you guys paid attention. If not, watch it over again. If we can't repair it, nobody can. Sup. Okay, see you next time.